That has incredible entrepreneurial experience. She's a joy to be around. She's got this vivacious energy that I think you're all going to love. Furthermore, she's developed, I think this is her second business. I'm sure she's got a couple other that I'm not aware of. But I wanted to introduce you to Jules Vertrees of Verve Culture, and they deliver iconic products to you from all around the world. Here's Jules.
Thank you for that very warm introduction, Chris. And welcome to you out-of-towners to Steamboat, my hometown. I am a Steamboat local. And I am an Australian living in Colorado selling Mexican product and Thai product. So how does that happen? Well, I am an expert in the wholesale to retail business. My co-founder and I have launched numerous international businesses into the US market, into amazing stores such as Sephora, Bloomingdale's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, and many, many more. We began to feel a little bit disillusioned a number of years ago by the amount of tchotchkes coming out of China. It's the only way I can describe it. And this was the product category that we were selling. And we were beginning to feel that end consumers were also feeling the same way, that a lot of the product out there in the market was ending up in the junk drawers and ultimately in the landfills, and we didn't like it. So our gut instinct, turns out, was right. Consumer habits are changing. Whereas 10 years ago, many, many consumers were very happy spending a small amount of money to get a novelty item for a quick pick-me-up. Today, consumers are really valuing different things, such as authenticity and sustainability. People nowadays are really curious and interested in where it's made, how it's made, who makes it, and does a product have purpose? Additionally, we're finding that consumers today are really wanting to spend their hard-earned dollars on experiences and experiential product, and not just stuff. So we felt that there was a really huge opportunity here for us. So what do? We are not making mass-produced product out of China. We are making experiential product that is authentic and that has real heart and soul. At Verve Culture, what we do is we curate iconic products from different parts of the world, and we refine it, we repackage it, and we add value so that the discerning customer out there, perhaps somebody shopping at like Nordstrom, would really like this product. So our passion project was born, and it was really born out of our passions, and that is cooking and entertaining and travel. And just as one of my heroes, Anthony Bourdain, took us on that cultural journey through his television shows, we at Verve Culture really want to take you on that cultural journey through our products. We are experts in what sells. We know what sells. We know how to source and manufacture, and we know what good packaging looks like. And we are, importantly, experts in international logistics. We got what it takes. So in order for a product to make it into our mix, it has to pass three main criteria. And that is, it has to be authentic, it has to be countertop worthy, and it has to be purposeful. So our first culture that we explored when launching our brand was Mexico. And on our first sourcing trip, we found ourselves in a market just outside of Mexico City. And as one does, I ordered a freshly squeezed orange juice from a street market vendor here, Juan, who was amazing. But what was most intriguing about as he's squeezing these amazing juicy oranges was this really cool industrial looking juicer. There was something about this juicer. So we hunted down where they were made. And we worked with the suppliers and worked on refining this product, highly polishing it and painting it with a little bit more finesse. We worked with packaging designers, and very quickly, our #1 bestseller was created. Soon after this sourcing trip, I was, due to a lot of my back contacts in the industry, I secured a meeting with the buyers at Nordstrom department store. And I took our first 3 products that we had put into the line and went and presented our idea to Nordstrom. And they loved the concept, the artisan, the non-mass produced concept. They loved it. And they bought all three, our first three SKUs, they bought on the spot, which is pretty unheard of. So from those first three SKUs at Nordstrom, we actually increased our SKU count from the Mexico range to 25, and very quickly gained even more amazing traction in the retail market. Anthropologie came on board, Sur La Table came on board, Urban Outfitters, Uncommon Goods, and just this week we secured the Fresh Market, which is, in case you don't know it, it's a very high-end grocery store, kind of like Whole Foods. But very quickly, our customers were asking us, well, what's next? What's the next culture? And it was Sur La Table, in fact, who really encouraged us to look at Southeast Asia, and specifically Thailand. Because they, at Sur La Table, they run cooking classes, and Thai cooking is always the one that sells out the first. So who here likes Thai food? Not so much over there. So you can't really, well, you're probably thinking, number one, are you talking food? Like food? You're a product company. Well, the beauty of Verve culture is we are not product focused. We are culture focused, which means that we can do anything. It means that we also have great opportunity to scale. So we went to Thailand. You cannot do a culture like Thailand and not honor their food culture. It is such an integral part of their culture. So we went to Bangkok and we partnered with an organic farm and worked with them on creating this incredible product called Thai for Two. And what it is we give you only the hard to find ingredients and really simple instructions. It's 6 steps, 7 minutes, and you just add your own protein and vegetable, and very quickly you can take credit for the most legit and authentic curry that you've had since you were backpacking in Koh Samui. We believe that this product has huge potential for the subscription model. So my background, my 25-year background in the retail industry really comes from the gift industry, which is a $131 billion market. The housewares market is even bigger. With $193 billion in incremental growth over the next 5 years, we really believe that we are in the right place at the right time. So we talked earlier how consumer buying habits are changing in what they're buying, but the way they're buying it is also changing. These stats look kind of scary. We all know that department store and bricks and mortar traffic is on the downswing and e-commerce is on the upswing. We all know that. But these statistics can still be a little misleading because 85% of all retail is done in the bricks and mortar and their e-commerce sites. Absolutely, e-commerce is growing and we want to be a part of it. But bricks and mortar is very important to a brand like ours. To be associated with Anthropologie or Nordstrom gives us credibility. It really endorses what our cultural journey is about. So we need the bricks and mortar, but we also want to be a part of this whole e-commerce growth. So we believe that the time is right now for us to carve out our space on the World Wide Web. So we have recently partnered with a venture studio out of Los Angeles called LaunchPop, and they are experts in the D2C or direct-to-consumer space. And with a brand like Verve Culture, it's all about the story and getting that story across. And on a website, on the D2C channel, that is the place for us to really shine and tell our story. Because who else can tell the story better than us? So we get to tell our story, we get to own our customer relationships and the data, and we'll be entering a growing marketplace rather than a declining marketplace, and the margins are nice. So it was about mid last year that we realized that our little passion project, our little side hustle, kind of had legs. All of our retailers were loving what we're doing. The end consumer was really getting an emotional connection to our product and loved it. And we thought, you know what, it might be time for us to stop our consulting business and focus full-time on Verve Culture. So we did that as of January of this year. And it seems to be paying off because we are 670% year-to-date increase, and we're on track to meet our $800,000 revenue goal for this year. but we need help. As I mentioned, the direct-to-consumer margins are much nicer. They are, it's true, but that comes at a cost. Customer acquisition is expensive. Now, we've built the machine, our engine is ready to rock and roll, our warehouse is full of inventory, we are open for business, but we need help. We need some fuel for that engine, because that customer acquisition, which basically means advertising, is really expensive in the direct-to-consumer channel. And we believe that now is the time for us to ask for some help, because we're ready to go. We're ready to ship out a ton of orders. And in the fourth quarter is when we do almost 70% of all sales in our market. We have an incredible team. We are a women's owned and a women's run business. We are 3 generations, so we are boomers, we're Gen Xers, and we're millennials. And with that brings immense wisdom and experience, as well as some great fresh ideas. And a little fun fact, Jackie Lewis there, in the top left, my co-founder, is my mother. And we have worked very successfully together for 25 years. So I think we all agree that consumer habits are changing and we're here at the right place. People are wanting fewer items that have more value. And we are looking for people to join this adventure with us, whether it be as an investor, or whether you want to follow us on our social media platforms, or whether you want to go to our website and buy all your Christmas gifts, we'll take it all. And come and join the journey with us. And who's got their passport? Thanks, guys.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
I don't know if we qualify. This is our one troop of steamboat companies. All of you with regional affiliation, we know that's a thing, right? It is Steamboat Launch, so glad to have a steamboat startup for sure. We got a few minutes for questions, and shoot, Jules, you can choose. I got one more right here, Riley, since you're doing this.
Hi, Riley. That's a great question, and if you didn't hear, she asked, if I was born in Australia, why would I choose Mexico for our first culture? That's a great question. Well, the quick answer is I've lived in Steamboat for 25 years and I love it. And I've vacationed in Mexico for more than that. Actually, before I moved here, I used to go to Mexico. I love Mexico. And it's our closest neighbor. Mexico is very close to the US. It was an easy place for us to as our side hustle, because this was a passion project to begin with. I was running a pretty big consultancy firm and didn't have a huge amount of time. So it was easy to get down there, and some of the values that we have that I mentioned, which is cooking and entertaining and food, Mexico's got it all. It's an incredibly vibrant culture. I love the people and I love the food, and it just made sense for us to make that our first culture.
Talk through the math on the 300,000. Have you run a pilot of your cost per acquisition? If so, what is it? What channels convert best for you? And then how many new customers do you feel like that 300,000 will get you, and what's the LTV on that?
That's a great question, and in case you guys didn't hear, he's asking about the 300,000 ask and where that's going and how it's costing us. We to date do not have hardly any D2C traffic whatsoever. We have a fairly nice website. We think it's nice. But the experts, and I'm no D2C expert or website design expert, we are redoing our website right now. I mentioned LaunchPop earlier. They're our venture studio out of Los Angeles, and we are completely rebranding our website, and we're going live actually in about 2.5 weeks.
On Shopify?
It is on Shopify, yes. And it's interesting you mentioned Shopify. Jane Lee, who is the founder of LaunchPop, was an entrepreneur in residence there. And she was on the Kylie Jenner Lip Kit launch. I don't know if you've heard of Kylie Jenner. She's the youngest self-made billionaire in the world. So they're the people behind us. We have done early testing with regards to who is our customer and what value proposition are they resonating with us. But in terms of cost of acquisition, we don't have have that yet. We're using market strategy, you know, the averages at this point. And it's not, so we know it's going to take time. The $300,000 investment is going to take some time. D2C, it's not like you turn a light switch on and it works. You have to build the following and get the organic following. So,
One more, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Can you talk to me about scalability with the artisan nature?
Scalability, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked because I didn't have time to put it in my 7-minute pitch. 7? Scalability, and I have been asked by many investors about this because a lot of the product that we make is handmade, it's artisan made. That is a concern. And when we first started with our product development, we didn't care about the scalability of the juicer or the hot chocolate Molinio that we started with. That has become a concern now as we grow and scale. How do we scale? We are adding more products. We have a lot of products that are going into Mexico and into the Thai range. So adding SKUs is going to add breadth to the range, number one. Number two, we are actively working on our next culture, which is Spain and Morocco. And by adding in more products that have more of a scalable approach is going to really help with that as well. Oh, and the other thing is you know, we just got the fresh market. So by going into a high-end grocer, that's a channel we've never been in before, and they're testing in 120 of their 300 stores. This could be a huge channel for us because the average person goes into a grocery store 1.6 times a week. So that's pretty cool.
Right on. Thank you very much.